and I can't wait to follow her journey and see what she does with the gifts that she's been given. So, Lamar?
Hello everyone, this is Lamar Gran and I am a 20 years old. I was born in Afghanistan, in Kabul, Afghanistan, into an educated family. My mother graduated from Kabul University and she completed her further studies at the Nebraska University. She's a well-educated and financially independent woman. Growing up, my parents supported and invested a lot in my education. They had a dream of me as a change maker, as a leader, and I would pursue my higher education in abroad. In traditional Afghan societies, families don't invest in women's education. Back to home, Afghanistan, every day we greeted with the sounds of bomb blasts. As a child, I always missed my school days due to suicide attack of many terrorist groups, usually the Taliban. Growing up, I was wearing jeans, makeup, and I had a relatively normal life. After graduating from high school, I decided to become involved in many civil rights organizations. I then joined the American University of Afghanistan. I decided to serve for my people. I started my nonprofit by attending high school campuses, girls' high school campuses, giving them educational classes, workshops, sanitary donations, and pads, and some of the stationery donations. Then the civil war between Afghan military forces and the Taliban broke out, which made us all worried and anxious about our future and our rights. In August of 2021, we noticed people were running and cars were driving extremely fast, and the streets were chaotic. We saw a man in the street and we asked him what had happened and why everyone is rushing. He said, Taliban are coming and they're in the city border. We were shocked. I was thinking about my future. My eyes were full of tears and those horrible stories of the post-Taliban period that my mother used to tell me come in back of my head. After 2 days of Taliban occupation, my friend asked me if I was interested in giving an interview with Al Jazeera news organization of what I have been witnessing, and I agreed. I told the story of how Taliban soldiers attacked on US troops and how they shot at citizens in the airport. After this interview, although I was terrified and I had an anonymous name, I shared my experience under the Taliban. I then restarted my nonprofit work, shifting to online work. Later, I gave another interview to Los Angeles Times newspaper as a teen scholar. I requested this journalist personally in my home. I requested him to come in my home and take a picture of me and hear my story. Every day, I spoke on international media and sent a letter to BBC World News about my life under the Taliban. Life wasn't easy for me. My dreams got shattered. I lost all my hopes and I didn't have any emotions. I had to burn all my documents, IDs, and certificates due to my father's political position. Then the American evacuation team evacuated us to the city of Mazar. I traveled from Kabul to Mazar, and then for 3 months we lived in that safe house with all these restricted movements. Here in this safe house, I still managed to speak with the media and continue educating girls online. Then the BBC World News organized for me to speak with Secretary Hillary Clinton on BBC World News podcast Women and Peace Building. I requested her to take action for Afghan women and keep an eye on Taliban women and human rights violations. After 2 months of living in the safe house, the Taliban started to arrest people from US camps. So overnight, we escaped from the safe house and we went back to Kabul. I was really scared, but at the same time, I didn't give up on conveying the voices of Afghan women to the world leaders. Later, I gave another interview to Repubblica, a newspaper in Italy, and I then became a columnist for the German newspaper Spiegel, describing my life in the safe house and describing everyday task in Afghanistan, how do women live there. At the same time, I kept giving workshops and classes for Afghan girls and those girls who cannot go to the schools and schools are banned for them, although I was in a safe house. And at the same time, I made some internet campaigns for them as well. In August of 2022, I received my visa from the country of Qatar to go for a scholarship from American University of Afghanistan to travel to Qatar. I remember right as we approached the aircraft, the border police had stopped us with 80 gears from the American University of Afghanistan, took our passports, visas, and took us to the terminal. After 7 hours of negotiation between Qatari representative and then the Taliban, they gave us back our bags, sent us home, and unfortunately, they allowed boys from the American University of Afghanistan to fly to Qatar. The reason why they didn't let us to travel from the country was because for women it's restricted. Women cannot travel inside and outside the country without a male guardian. Who is a male guardian? A male guardian can be a father, a husband, and an uncle, and a grandfather. After 1 month, I decided to travel alone to the Pakistan border. At midnight, we started our trip together with my father. I successfully passed the border without my father. Together with my 5 classmates, we traveled from Pakistan border to the Islamabad capital of Pakistan. After 2 days, I got my flight tickets. I traveled to Qatar, and I left my family behind. After I arrived in Qatar, the Spiegel revealed my identity with my full name and a picture of me, and the BBC World journalist Susan Kianpour announced me as the girl who spoke with Hillary Clinton. And I continued on with my activism. I spoke with a member of the German parliament about my organization, and an EU parliament member about the situation of Afghan women. I was selected as a UN delegate for United Nations Least Development Countries Conference in Doha, where I spoke about Afghan women, current inequalities, and discrimination in the country. In UN Refugee Forum 2022, I spoke about my journey and the struggles of refugees worldwide. At the same time, I met with activists, I met with disability rights activists, Arab women's rights activists, and activists worldwide to create awareness for Afghan women. I joined an advocacy group also called Our Help Organization in Berlin. At the same time, I also served as a youth advocate for education above all and Silatech Foundation. These 2 organizations belong to the Queen of Qatar. In 2023, I won a scholarship from Berea College. I got my visa from the US Embassy. I was really stressed about that. I traveled here to Kentucky. I feel happy that my dreams and those of my family were coming true today. Well, I'm lucky to have come here and have the opportunity of education, employment, freedom of speech, expression, identity, and fundamental human rights. However, women in my country still suffer from anti-woman policies. Every day, they face a new horrible law and decree from the Taliban. Today is an International Women's Day. I would like to remind you all that there is no gathering like this for women in Afghanistan to celebrate their gender like today. This is considered a Western ideology which Taliban never accept that. There's a gender apartheid happening in the country. Schools and universities are banned for women. Women cannot work. Women are ultimately forced to disappear from the society. There's no woman in law, politics, education, sports, television, and parks. Even entertainment is banned for them. Even their homes are not safe for them. As I tell my story, I bear the weight of innumerable untold tales of women who are trapped, having had their identities and rights taken away from them. Their once colorful tapestry is now tangled with injustice, uncertainty, and terror. As for me, I have big plans. I'm continuing my education in Berea College. I'm studying political science, and my long-term goal is to change Afghanistan political system, create reforms in the policies, make the government more inclusive. But I would like to tell you all, this is not the time to reminisce on how things used to be. Especially on this day, I decided to take action and help more than 300 female Afghan students in my online education. For the last 4 years, we have been teaching them English, computer, math, and we are covering college students, female college students, and female school students. We have been providing them a variety of workshops on capacity building, scholarship application, STEM division, mental health, writing emails, writing CVs, and inviting influencers to motivate them at this critical time. We had the fortunate of working with amazing volunteers that work in-person classes and as well as in online classes. My future plan is I would like to extend my reach of my nonprofit by getting involved with other international organizations. I will continue to empower women through my nonprofit, teaching girls all over Afghanistan and hoping to make it more impactful in order to bring changes in the life of more than 1,000 of Afghan girls. And if you would like to get involved in my nonprofit, you can participate in fundraising programs, you can participate in making donations, create awareness for Afghan women, providing resources, materials, and teachers for those girls who cannot go to the schools. And this action would benefit more than 1,000 of Afghan girls who cannot go to the schools and universities. My last word would be, I will not give up to despair, even though I'm far away from family and those I love. I will continue to fight for them. That's a driving force stronger than those who wants to oppress us. Because women are brave, resilient, their support system for their families, their support system basis of economy, and our goal needs to bring true equality. Thank you.